First guys, the Fortnite story begins with there's essentially nothing in the Omniverse here. Guys, also by the way, it is referred to the Omniverse because essentially it connects to multiple multiverses. Now, as you need to know, in the essentially Omniverse, prior to the 0 point arriving, there's only the nothing. The nothing is essentially a sentient being, essentially darkness basically, and I would say this is equivalent to that of null. Now, eventually, the 0 point ends up creating realities at some points, not really know the time, and eventually the story first starts and save the world on Earth, and it is essentially a reality. I can't remember, but it is a reality. Now, basically, the story talks about how 90% of the population disappears. Now, this is because of the storm. The storm essentially is sent to this Earth, and it basically turns everybody, or most people, the population, into essentially husk. Now, eventually, the only survivors here that help save the day is like Vendor Tech, Ray, and Ramirez, which is basically, I think, one of the defaults if you don't actually know. I think one of the only two defaults that actually exists in the game. Now, I also want to mention two Joneses in this game too, by the way. So again, I don't know if this is the same ability as the one like from Agent Jonesy, but I just want to mention that too. Now we fast forward, make another time towards the center of reality, and we have Reality Zero here. This is where Chapter 1 to Chapter 3 takes place here. Mysterious Battle Island exists, a 20-minute loop trap that inhabits essential players who cannot talk, and it basically forces them to fight to the death, and they keep on playing again. Also here too, unlike compared to Save the World's Earth, the actual storm is controlled. Now eventually the visitor arrives here, he crashes on a meteor, and he's essentially one of the seven who want to essentially destroy the loop, and they want to fight against the IO, because the IO is the people who create the loop essentially, to study essentially the 0 point. Now eventually, also season 5-2, a rift comes in, and the rift also ends up sending in drift as well from the essential real water of the real Earth. Again, it's not known if it's a reality of Fortnite or something just out of not part of the Fortnite reality at all, so I want to clarify that as well. Now, eventually, in some point in time, we also get to see the creation of Kevin the Cube by this one. These were the same cubes that were essentially used to save the world's Earth to essentially that evolved the Storm Cube, and would essentially control the storm and would use it to turn people into us, basically, and would be destroyed, would be eviscerated. Yes, you heard me clear right. Eviscerated. Now, at some point in time, with this evisceration, basically, Ice King arrives to the island via from the moon, apparently. And then he imprisons people, essentially, and he has a castle where he just imprisons. Now, there's a monster under it and a prisoner that will be essentially important. Now, eventually, he uses Kevin the Cube's, a shard of Kevin the Cube, for magic to essentially freeze the whole entire map. The ice ends up melting, releasing the monster, which wants to take the 0 point, and guess what? The monster just gets absolutely slimed out by Paradigm, which, FYI, Paradigm might be low-key top 1 people of all time. Just saying, man, single-handedly saved Fortnite. And then eventually season 2, we end up meeting here with like the Ghost, the agency, and he like minus produce. Not really important to the story, but then essentially tries to essentially control the loop, because he wants to stop the loop he wants to control the storm and stop the loop. Basically, he wants to essentially stop the IO. Now, in his act, he ends up again. The storm ends up defying this, ends up acting. Also, you didn't mention earlier too. Heard me earlier. The storm is actually a sentient life form, so the storm fights back against this and essentially turns into a wave of water. Now, eventually, this wave of water literally crashes down and essentially just destroys, like, basically fills the whole entire map, essentially. Galactus pulls up 2 in season 4, and the Marvel characters arrive here too.
Again, they don't really know how they arrive here, but they essentially arrive and they can actually talk here because the loop bounds them to this, basically. And there's people like Doctor Doom also wants to arrive to like Doctor Doom as well, which won't really be that important to the story, though, to be real. But Galactus pulls up, and he takes like 5 stinking years just to try to take the 0 point, and guess what? His bum eye gets rifted away, bro. Gets rifted away for like the 5th time it's been. 5th time. And this is the same Galactus, bro. This guy just has to retire. Now, as you continue on, it's unstable, and so essentially the Foundation pulls up the Rock, aka the Rock.
It ends up essentially arriving basically into one of our ships. Now, luckily, Slums is low-key the go, the Loopers, but essentially Loopers help out, and we help destroy the monster. Now, then we end up on this big portal, by the way, a big portal, like a portal the size of Mississippi, bro. Yes, Mississippi, the country.
Yeah. But basically, we end up seeing like millions of more ships that can rival the Death Star. I'm just saying, bro. And sheer power, but the whole entire empire. Matter of fact, the Empire and the Republic, the Second Republic, the Third Republic. Matter of fact, the United States of America combined, all those combined, it can rival all that. I'm just saying. That's just how sticking powerful they were, man. I'm just saying. That's how much they were packing. I'm just saying.
Now, basically, they keep on essentially after that, the island flips over.
Chapter 3, basically, everybody thinks it's cool. They have a civil war between the IO and the 7, because them to stop, basically, this. Matt gets absolutely eviscerated, man. You heard me, eviscerated, bro. And then, basically, Paradigm being the GOAT again, creates a new stinking map, man. A new stinking map
But basically on here we have the Aegis. He's essentially the new threat. He gets packed basically. He's essentially the version of Deno, basically. And then you have Kano Thorn. Kano Thorn pulls up too. You know, Kano Thorn is essentially a vampire, and he essentially wants to go back. He wants to collect artifacts essentially from the past, and eventually he gets packed up. He gets cooked by a vampire hunter. Yeah, bro, getting packed up by a vampire. But that's kind of sad. I'm just saying. So essentially we go back to OG. We kind of bring some stuff basically there. We go back to the present, and this is really chapter 5. Now in chapter 5 we have Valeria. We also meet a girl named, what the heck her name is called? Hope. My bad, Hope. She's a W name, can't lie. But Hope and her bad sister Valeria has like this team basically 4 people. Like, it's like they're like equals like Italy. In season 2, Zeus is all pressed and stuff because he's pressed, bro. She opened up his Pandora's box. He's freaking so pressed that he becomes a part of the Fortnite island. Yes, this guy has the audacity to literally make Olympus the Fortnite island. This guy might be top 10 biggest hairs of all time, bro. It can never be this deep. He's so pressed that he wants to destroy all of humanity on Fortnite. Yo, bro, I guess to the point. One person did it. In season 3, we have Megalon arrives, and this bum decides to name the ship that's based off a shark, the freaking Leviathan. Yes, you heard me right, the Leviathan. Take a mind, a Leviathan, look it up, is a stinking sea serpent, not a shark, a sea serpent. This guy has the audacity to name a ship made of a shark, a sea serpent. This is like me having the audacity to name my pet monkey a cupcake. But basically, the short term, this guy essentially just, he just does cocaine, does drugs, basically, just to get buff, you feel me? And the guy's essentially working with Doom. You know, Doom doesn't mess with the guy. Again, he just packs the guy up, and he gets packed up. So you don't have to do a Megalon, even though I think we got it. No, just like your boy Galactus, he gets freaking, guess what? He gets absolutely eviscerated, bro. My bad, he doesn't get eviscerated. He gets rifted away, bro. Now to go into Remix, bro, which might be the most goated season of all time, and we basically get to see Juice WRLD. So this means Juice WRLD is canon, bro, in Fortnite. That's pretty tough right there. We get to see Ice Spice, bro, and many other people too. We're gonna mention them because, you know, they're not as big as Ice Spice and Juice WRLD. They're not as big, you know, so. The demons end up coming here, and then also you have like this wolf guy come in too, and also I think his brother too. Like, I think the brother, one of the guys, he pulls up too, and so basically the brother pulls up, and you know he gets just drugged by the mess. The Max takes control of him, and he wants to be a bad guy basically, and that's when he kind of goes to the point where essentially that's when they put the story really. You know, Hope's still there basically, Jonesy, but basically the guys that holding this monster, this big demon, he controls all the demons, and this guy, take a mind, was so powerful. They brought Godzilla, King Kong, Chaos Demon Hunters. They brought me, bro. They brought me. You know, I'm top 10 of all time. You feel me? They brought me to the fight, bro. That's how tough you know he was. When they brought me to the fight, me, yes, not Godzilla, not King Kong, but me to the fight. And we still got our car packed up. Wait, we didn't win the fight until they won Kevin the Stinking Q. Also, Godzilla did nothing no one started fight. He got absolutely packed up, bro. I was doing more than he was. And take him out, I'm 1/10 of his size, FYI. FYI. Matter of fact, bro, K-pop Demon Hunters was doing more things than Godzilla was. Bro. Matter of fact, everybody's in existence, bro. I was doing more things than Godzilla was doing, bro. I'm just saying, I'm just spitting ball. I'm spitting ball. Guys, after this is basically we're going to chapter 7 now. You know, the most goated chapter of all time, you know, you're filming. Basically, here, guys, we meet the Voyager, and the Voyager's really cool. Also, I forgot to mention, too, in the OG timeline, which is essentially the OG right now, they end up, Jonesy ends up eradicating Kevin the Q so he doesn't become, you know, all big bad and zombies and stuff, so he doesn't last as long. But basically, guys, Raven lame eye ends up, you know, Raven ends up still getting corrupted basically. So yeah, he's pretty dumb. He's basically just a bum. He's basically an F tier villain basically since he just gets corrupted anyway. But basically, yeah. Now also here too, the Ice King's not a good guy anymore. This guy's a bad guy. He's a bad guy, and he has drip now, bro. Might be top 10 villains of all time. I'm just saying, bro. The Ice King, he's teaming up with the Dark Voyager, bro. The most lamest skin possible of all time. Why does this guy have to be the villain? They could have made me the villain, but instead they decided to make the Dark Voyager the villain. Yeah, are we serious right now? But basically, he's going to essentially putting this point up. And so again, I'm actually looking for the last reality. If they do, bro, we're packed because they have the Herald, they have the Ice King, bro. They have the Dark Voyager. They have Raven, bro. They have Raven again. Bro, they have the freaking Raven Knight, bro. Matter of fact, bro, they might as well add me to the team as well at this point. They might as well just add me to the sticking team at this point, bro. That's all the Fortnite story, though. Again, I hope y'all enjoy this, man. I'll see y'all. I'll make a full YouTube video on this stuff at some point.
Yeah.